So I'm with Ellen Gabler. Ellen is an investigative reporter for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and Ellen just finished this amazing project where she spent months looking into, once again, newborn screening across the country. What she found 3 years ago in a project called Deadly Delays was that samples from newborns were being sent late, not promptly to state labs, and that led to a lot of problems. So what'd you find this time?
So this story looked at newborn screening again, but it was about some bigger issues in newborn screening nationally. And the problem I found was that there's a lack of uniformity in the way that the states actually do these tests. And so what ends up happening is a kid can be born in one state and their life-threatening condition is missed because of the actual way that the state does the test. And if they'd been born somewhere else, right, they could have been caught.
It might have been caught.
Yep.
And you had a great example, well, many great examples in your piece, but one was of this boy in Brookfield. Why don't you talk about Mel?
Yeah, so Mel is the lead example in this story, and he was born about 6.5 years ago. And one of the Wisconsin State Lab is the one that did his testing for genetic disorders, and because of the way they set the cutoffs for his disorders, they're high compared to the rest of the country. They're significantly higher than the rest of the country, and because of that, his condition was missed. And so Mel wasn't diagnosed with this genetic disorder that's treatable when it is caught. And when he was 18 months old, he suffered a stroke and brain damage. And his little sister, actually, this is kind of an interesting little detail. His little sister has the very same disorder, and she was actually caught by newborn screening because she was, below the cutoff. And so she's a typically developing 5-year-old. Because she was caught and treated early.
So why isn't there uniformity among the states?
So newborn screening is interesting because every state kind of just does what they want, and that's okay to some degree. But what I found was a lot of these states aren't meeting some of the minimum standards that they should, and so that's a big problem.
Yeah. So what can be done about it? What are some solutions that you came across in your reporting?
So there's a federal advisory committee that reports to the HHS, to the Secretary of Health. And so that advisory committee meets, and they've talked for a long time, actually, about trying to bring some more standardization. But they kind of have a hard time agreeing and making a decision. So that's...
They don't have any real teeth either, right?
That's right, they don't.
It's advisory.
Yep, it's advisory. Okay. So, if that committee was able to actually come to some specific conclusions, that might help. The other thing is, and I talk about this in the article, there's a software that's been developed by Mayo Clinic. It's free for everybody to use. It was actually developed under with a federal grant. Yeah, that's connected.
And what does it do?
Connected to this committee. So basically what it does is it's a database of test results from 30 million babies all over the whole country, 19,000 of them like kids who actually have these metabolic disorders. And so it allows the state labs to upload their data and really quickly compare the results of babies that were just tested with kids who actually have been diagnosed with these metabolic disorders. So it's sort of a way to more accurately predict if a child has one of these conditions. And so it's helped. It's been used, throughout the world, and it's helped in a lot of cases.
And how many states are using that software, as far as you can tell?
It's unclear because nobody really wants to talk about it.
How about Wisconsin? Are we using it?
We're not using it to its fullest capacity, and so that's sort of the issue. Not very many states are using it to its fullest capacity.
Ellen Gabler, thanks so much. Be sure to take a look at Ellen's project, The Price of Being Wrong, at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel's website. Really great in-depth reporting. It's the kind of thing you expect from the Journal-Sentinel. Thanks, Ellen.
Thanks for having me.